ASMR Coffin Radio.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Coffin Radio. I am Heartthrob Rob, and today we are talking about Dark Side of the Ring, Season 3, Episode 5, Becoming Warrior. The Ultimate Warrior has a divisive force in and outside of the ring. His first wife reveals how an aspiring chiropractor morphed himself into wrestling's most polarizing figure. A good little documentary here, man. I consider this maybe the companion piece to the WWE on A&E episode that we had just on Sunday. That was 2 hours. This here is just an hour from the Dark Side of the Ring guys. And it paints a different picture than what we saw of Jim. You know, it's not too different. I thought this thing, not that it was going to be, you know, a burial like self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior, but, you know, I thought it would be a little bit more difficult, or, you know, that they would paint him in kind of in a bad light. Not that, you know, that they would do that on purpose, but that's kind of where it would be. And it, again, was just kind of mellow, and, you know, people disliked him, but it wasn't like, oh, I fucking hate him, God, I want to kill him. You know, it was just things that people have been said, and things that people have already known kind of about the Warrior. Hard to deal with. He let stuff get to his head, and you know, maybe he wasn't the nicest guy towards the end of his, you know, after wrestling, all the rants and raves and things like that he would go on. But, you know, we cover his whole career starting from the beginning. We cover, you know, when he gets in, you know, huge bodybuilding guy, used to be weak, now he's a big old muscle head. And then we get into the Blade Runners with Sting, then Dingo Warrior in WCW Wrestling out in Dallas, or is it Houston? It's Texas. But we also, and then we get, you know, when he pulls up to the WWE now, as the Ultimate Warrior. And, you know, it's not the greatest wrestler in the world, and he himself did not want to be a wrestler like that. But, you know, the shaking of the ropes and running down to the aisle with that fucking iconic ass music bangs him over like a million pieces. You know, the interviews here are mostly from Jim Cornette, Warrior's ex-wife, who he was married from 1982 till 1989, I believe it was, something like that. I think it was 7 years. And who else is in there? Jim Ross is interviewed. We get a little bit of Eric Bischoff. We go over him winning the title from Hulk, a momentous, huge match, and you can really see Hulk does carry him, you know. I mean, they're going the wrong way with the quick camera a few times, but Hulk does his thing, and then he ends up losing the title, and as he loses the title, the wife says he just, instant flip of a switch, you know. He goes from semi-humble guy to he's the Warrior, you know, and then you get to the part where he holds up McMahon for money, and McMahon's like, yeah, sure, I'll pay you, just let's do this match first. The second he gets out, fuck you, you're fired, get the hell out of here. Oh, also we get Jake the Snake also being giving his 2 cents on here, and Jake does not like the Warrior. Cornette, not a huge fan of his. Jim Ross just telling it like it is, that he's just, you know, the least talented wrestler he had to deal with. But, you know, again, they smashed him over like a million pieces. After he loses the title, you know, he tries to, you know, hold Vince up, or, you know, he's just not working out so much, so he leaves, comes back, they're not with it again, game over. Warrior opens up his own gym, he comes back in 1996, they show him squash Triple H, fucking dumbass idea. And then this one also skips WCW, it skips WCW just like the A&E one did, and then we have just him going on his rants and raves, like I said earlier, and it's, you know, the homophobia and stuff like that, and just such weird stuff. The things that he was writing are like really racial overtones here too, pretty racist stuff. But they show him finally coming back into the fold, you know, 15, 20 years later, however long it's been, and he comes back, makes amends with everybody. He says, you know, makes his apologizes to Hulk for the things that he was saying to him. You know, Jake the Snake is ready. He's got a roll of quarters ready to friggin' bomb on this dude, and Warrior finds him and he says, hey man, I'm sorry about everything, I should have never done that to you, because apparently Ultimate Warrior told him that, you know, you don't mess this up for me, you know, because I don't care about you or your family, I'll take money out of your mouth, all this crazy stuff. But they're finally able to squash it, you know, almost 30 years later. But crazy stuff here, man. I didn't think it wasn't as controversial as I was thinking this episode was going to be. I thought it was very good. Not super controversial. What I was saying too, like on this one, just like the A&E one, and I hate to keep bringing it up, but there's not too much meat on the bone. Like the Warrior was only in and out, a flash in the pan, you know? You beat Hogan, that's ginormous, you know? Your entrance when you get the Intercontinental from Honky Tonk, those are big moments, but that's, you know, 2 moments, and then you losing the title wasn't a fucking big thing. No one gave a shit. Like, we didn't want you like that. WrestleMania 12, no one gave a shit. Like, it was cool for the big pop, but other than that, no one cares. You know, they don't cover WCW, and then his, you know, racist stuff is racist stuff. Like, that's not wrestling related to me, and it just shows me you're a piece of shit. But again, there's just not enough meat on the bone for these Warrior things. I feel like this was more condensed. It was easier to understand in an hour as compared to 2 hours. You kind of almost dragged it out. But two very good, or, you know, good episodes of, it's good seeing everything about the Warrior, but the episodes just aren't that exciting. Not the greatest thing in the entire world to watch. You know, shout out to the Dark Side of the Ring guys. I just don't think there's enough meat on the bone here. So maybe a B- of an episode, C+. It's cool, you know. But I've watched 3 hours of fucking Warrior. You know, for someone who had a handful of matches, 3 were okay, you know. But let me know what you guys think, man. We'll talk about it in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, and if you like what you're watching, then hop in the coffin. Follow us on social media at Coffin Radio. Coffin is spelled with a K. And that's all for today.
ASMR Coffin Radio.